Hey, what's going on, guys? Hex here, and today I thought we'd take a look at the Disney exclusive Star Wars Elite series, Kylo Ren Unmasked. Now, my buddy Grip picked this up for me because there's not a Disney store anywhere near me. Couldn't find him online. I believe he was sold out. So, if you do happen to find him, pick him up. He's definitely, I think, one of the cooler ones from the Elite series, and I'll kind of go into that whenever we get further into the review. But this guy's diecast, he stands 7 inches tall, is larger than your regular 6-inch Blackline series one. I got his feet further apart, but and not on the stand, but still, you can definitely see that this guy's from the Elite series is a bit taller. Some of the other things that I wanted to mention is he's a die cast. Now, there are a couple of plastic parts here, which are just his hand, his lightsaber, and this little bendy plastic, rubbery plastic here, and also this part right here. The rest of the figure is completely die cast. The feet, the thigh or shin, thighs, the waist, the chest, arms, forearms, the head, everything is die cast. So it is quite a heavy figure, but it's just really cool looking, and I like the fact that he comes with a stand. It helps out quite a bit. So some of the things that I wanted to get into. First off, the accessories. That's how I usually, cover these things. With the lightsaber, as you can see, there's a lot nicer paint on this than there is on the 6-inch Blackline series. So you can see like the gold here. There's also a red line going down there. So and it's much larger as well. So let me rip his away from here. You can see that the 6-inch Blackline series is just black. It has a little bit of gray paint here and there. I mean, it's one of those ones that you can detach there, but still very simple. And you can also see as far as the length as well. This one, a lot more detail, so very nice looking. The other thing with the stand, you can see it says Star Wars there. It's just your simple black stand, but it does have one peg just right over here, and that's really all you need. Nothing on the bottom. As you can see, he can stand fine on his own. But I wanted to get into some of the nice details about this guy. First off, taking a look at the head, if we can get the camera focus. There we go. I think that they did a really good job of, making it look like Adam Driver from the movie. Now, as far as, paint blemishes, there's not really a whole lot. You can see they got a little bit of outlines there with the hair. So right there, just very small there. And there's like one little bitty speck black paint right there. So it's not even really, I don't think, coming up on camera very well. There you can kind of see it, what I'm talking about. But for the most part, it's pretty flawless. I'm just kind of nitpicking at it a little bit, but I'm really glad that, you get the unmasked one. This is something that I don't know if they're going to be coming out for the regular 6-inch Blackline series, so I was like, dude, I've got to have it. And plus it's Kylo Ren, so I was like, let me get the masked one as well. But you can see some of the other nice details here in his little uniform stuff. So same thing with the pattern going down here with the arms. You had that in the 6-inch line, so as you can kind of see the difference right there. The belt is kind of different there, so there's no paint on here where you had the gray paint. And the other thing is where this is kind of a a soft fabric, and then you had a little bit of a rubber down here. This is just all rubber, so you don't have any of that soft fabric, which maybe would have kind of looked a little strange on this figure, but so I'm cool with this. This looks fine, and you can see the legs and boots down there. Now, like I mentioned before, the plastic parts or the soft rubbery plastic parts are going to be the hands and this section and this section. One of the problems that I think the Star Wars Elite series has is the screws on the back. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you haven't picked up any of these figures yet, just go look up the Elite series Stormtrooper. And you can see they have, and it shows it all because Kylo Ren, he's got this section covering up a lot. But you got screws here in the shoulder, here in the bicep. It's the same on this arm. You have screws in the back, and I think up there. You have screws, I believe they're in the butt. I just can't see it on him, but you got screws in the back of the legs as well. So whenever you look from the front, the figures, they all look good. You look from the back, most of them, you see screws all over the place, and it just kind of looks just kind of an eyesore. Now, I'm completely aware that people aren't going to, display their figures this way. But still, it's one of those things. It's an adult collectible. You're paying $25 for it, at least if you buy it in store. And, you don't want that kind of eyesore on your figures. Well, with Kylo Ren, you really only get the one screw because, this part is covering up that shoulder, and this part right here is covering up the back. This is covering up the leg. So you only see that one screw, and to be honest, that really doesn't bother me that much. So that's why I think that the Kylo Ren is probably one of the better figures for the Elite series, and he's worth picking up. Some of the other ones, not so much. All right, as far as articulation, to kind of get in with this guy, the head's on a ball joint, but you don't get the full movement because of the hair down here, as you can kind of see. But, you can go back and forth a little bit. They do turn. I can't really rock too much out of it just because of the hair in the back. The shoulders, they go in and out, and they also rotate. Now, be careful on how much you rotate this because, like I said, this is die cast. This die cast is just black on, paint on top, and you can see that there. You can see where it's the metal there, where it started to kind of wear off the black, and that's from me rotating this, and it's just grinding kind of away there. And it's rubbing that black paint off, and I wanted to try it again. It's not really that big of a deal at this moment, so it's something that I'm not going to mess with again. But this was completely black. I'm like, okay, let's see if I can do it again, because I just like to mess up my figures for you guys. And so I did the same thing, just barely, and you can see just a little bit of metal started showing there. So it's definitely from that, from rubbing up against this inner part. So I wouldn't try to press it too much. Just kind of get them in the pose you want and just kind of leave it. Once you start to get a little bit of resistance, don't keep on forcing it. Otherwise, you're going to start to mess away at that paint unless you just don't care. But the elbows, they do go 90 degrees, and the wrists, they just rotate around. So the waist, it's right here, so that rotates. And then while this left leg is hindered because you don't have a split right here. I mean, there's kind of one right there, but you don't have it right there, so he can't go out that much with that leg. He can go this much forward, that much back. He can still, bend it a little bit, but to kind of show off the articulation of the legs, it can go out thus far, and there's kind of a look there. It doesn't have a thigh cut of any kind. It can go forward, back. The knee bends at 90 degrees, and the foot, it just goes front and back. So you're going to get more articulation out of the Blackline series, but I still think that you can pull off some cool poses that you couldn't with the Blackline series. One of the things that I do like is this hand, because we see him, in the movie and also in the preview where, he's got his hand out like that, and, he's doing stuff, not to spoil it for anyone that hasn't seen it, but you've also seen it in the preview. Where this hand, it's just another grip hand. I would have preferred, just the right hand be the grip hand, and then this one be like this, kind of an open hand, or give us a hand that we can swap out or something, That would have been good for this, but so I do like this a lot. So you can get that, that pose there, and we can just add the sword again. And to kind of just get them, posed, we'll just put them on that one peg there. Kind of like we did at the very beginning. So, pretty cool figure. There's some of the positives, some of the negatives with it. Mainly the thing to watch out for are the arms, so you don't grind away at that. Some of the positives, like even in this pose, you don't see any of the screws. Die cast, it's a little bit taller figure. It comes with a stand. The lightsaber is better. You're getting it in an unmasked version, which I think is cool because you do see them in the film like that. So, those are some of the positives, the negatives. So whether you think it's worth picking up, that's your decision you're going to have to make. But hopefully I was able to help out with that. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.